playing politics, persuasion versus coercion versus manipulation. Let's be honest, folks, politics is a contact sport. It's a messy, chaotic brawl where everyone's trying to win you over to their side. But how do they do it? Well, sometimes it's honest persuasion, appealing to your logic and reason. Other times it's blatant coercion, using threats or force to get their way. And then there's manipulation, the sneaky cousin that tries to trick you into thinking you're making your own choices. Persuasion is like a good lawyer, presenting evidence and arguments to convince you. Coercion is the schoolyard bully, twisting your arm until you give in. Manipulation, on the other hand, is the master illusionist, subtly influencing your perception to steer you in a desired direction. Think of it like this: persuasion wins your mind, coercion breaks your will, and manipulation plays with your emotions. The lines between these tactics can get blurry, especially in the political arena. A politician might start with persuasion, appealing to your sense of patriotism or economic anxiety, but if that doesn't work, they might resort to fear-mongering or smear campaigns, edging into the territory of manipulation. And in extreme cases, they might even use threats or intimidation, crossing the line into coercion. The key takeaway here is this: not all political influence is created equal. Recognizing the difference between persuasion, coercion, and manipulation is the first step in becoming a more informed and discerning citizen. Don't let them play you for a fool. Remember that time you bought those amazing shoes online because everyone else was raving about them, only to discover they were about as comfortable as walking on hot coals? Yeah, that's your old pal, the bandwagon effect, a classic cognitive bias that makes us conform to the actions of others. And guess what? Politicians know all about it. From the fiery rhetoric of wartime propaganda to the carefully crafted sound bites of modern campaigns, politicians have always exploited our emotional triggers and cognitive biases to shape public opinion. Take the Salem witch trials, for example. Fueled by fear, paranoia, and a healthy dose of confirmation bias, seeing what you want to see, innocent people were accused and condemned based on flimsy evidence. Fast forward to the present day, and you'll find these same tactics alive and well. Remember the 2016 US presidential election and the whole crooked Hillary narrative? That's framing bias in action, painting a negative picture of an opponent by using loaded language and selective information. Or how about the constant barrage of fear-mongering about immigration and terrorism? Yep, that's the good old appeal to fear, a tried and true tactic for rallying support and suppressing dissent. The point is, history is littered with cautionary tales of how easily we can be swayed by emotional appeals and cognitive shortcuts. By understanding these psychological vulnerabilities, we can become more critical consumers of political information and less susceptible to manipulation. Let's face it, folks, we humans are a skittish bunch. We're hardwired to avoid threats, real or imagined. And politicians? Well, they're masters at exploiting those primal fears to their advantage. It's like they've all attended the same seminar, Fear 101, How to Scare Your Way to the Top. Think about it. How many political campaigns have you witnessed that weren't built on at least a little bit of fear? Fear of economic collapse, fear of social change, fear of the other. The list goes on. It's the oldest trick in the book. Convince people they're in danger, then present yourself as the only one who can save them. Remember the Daisy ad from the 1964 US presidential election? It showed a little girl counting daisy petals followed by a nuclear explosion. The message was clear vote for Lyndon B. Johnson or face atomic annihilation. Subtle, right? But effective? Absolutely. It tapped into Cold War anxieties and painted Johnson's opponent as a warmongering maniac. The truth is, fear is a potent motivator. It can shut down rational thought and make us more susceptible to manipulation. When we're afraid, we're more likely to accept simplistic solutions, embrace authoritarian figures, and turn against those we perceive as different. In other words, fear is a shortcut to bad decisions. So, the next time a politician tries to sell you fear, remember this: the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and politicians who exploit it for their own gain. Now let's turn our attention to another key player in the political game, the media. Whether it's traditional news outlets or social media platforms, the media plays a crucial role in shaping political narratives and influencing public opinion. But how exactly does this happen? First, consider the concept of agenda setting. Media organizations decide which stories to cover and how much attention to give them. By prioritizing certain issues, they shape what the public perceives as important. For example, if every news channel is talking about immigration, Viewers are likely to see it as a pressing issue, even if other topics might be more significant in the long run. Then, there's framing. This is the way information is presented to the audience. The same event can be framed in multiple ways, each leading to different interpretations. A protest can be portrayed as a fight for justice or as a public disturbance, depending on the narrative the media chooses to push. Social media adds another layer of complexity. Algorithms prioritize content that generates engagement, often amplifying sensational or emotionally charged stories. This can create echo chambers where users are exposed primarily to viewpoints that reinforce their existing beliefs. It's a breeding ground for confirmation bias and can deepen political divides. Moreover, the rise of fake news and misinformation campaigns complicates things further. Unscrupulous actors can spread false information to sway public opinion or discredit opponents. This makes it harder for voters to discern fact from fiction, undermining the democratic process. So, what's the takeaway here? While the media can inform and educate, it can also mislead and manipulate. It's essential for us as consumers to be critical of the information we receive. Cross-check sources, seek out diverse perspectives, and be wary of sensationalist headlines. Leave a like if you have learned something new so far. In Trust We Vote, the power of perceived authenticity. In the popularity contest that is politics, trust is a valuable commodity. It's the currency that can make or break a campaign. Voters are more likely to support candidates they perceive as trustworthy, even if they don't always agree with their policies. This perception of trust can often outweigh policy disagreements. It's like that friend who could sell you a used car and make you believe it's a golden chariot. Their charm and confidence can be incredibly persuasive. They have that certain something, that je ne sais quoi, that makes you believe them. It's an intangible quality that resonates deeply with people. Politicians know this, and they work tirelessly to cultivate an image of authenticity and trustworthiness. They understand that their public persona is crucial to their success. They kiss babies, wear hard hats at construction sites, and share carefully curated snippets of their lives on social media, all in an effort to appear relatable and genuine. These actions are meticulously planned to build a connection with the electorate. It's all part of the carefully crafted persona, designed to make you feel like they're one of us. They want to be seen as someone who understands and shares our everyday struggles. But here's the rub: perceived authenticity doesn't always equal actual integrity. The image they project can be very different from their true character. A politician can be charming, charismatic, and utterly full of it. Their ability to connect on a superficial level can mask deeper issues. Just because they can deliver a good speech or connect with voters on an emotional level doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. Emotional appeal can be a powerful tool, but it can also be misleading. Remember, folks, we're talking about a profession where acting is practically a job requirement. Politicians often rehearse their speeches and public appearances to perfection. So how do you separate the genuine article from the counterfeit? It's a challenging task, but it's essential for making informed decisions. It's not easy, but it starts with a healthy dose of skepticism. Question everything and don't take things at face value. Don't be swayed by appearances or smooth talk. Look for substance over style. Look beyond the carefully crafted image and examine the politician's track record, their policies, and their actions. Research their history and see if their actions align with their words. Remember, trust should be earned, not assumed. It's up to us to hold our leaders accountable and ensure they truly represent our interests. Jumping on the bandwagon social proof and the herd mentality. We humans are social creatures. We crave belonging, conformity, and the approval of our peers, and this innate desire to fit in can make us susceptible to a powerful form of social influence: social proof. In a nutshell, social proof is the idea that if everyone else is doing it, it must be right. Think about it. How many times have you gone to a restaurant because it was packed with people, assuming it must be good, or bought a product because it had thousands of 5-star reviews? That's social proof in action. We see others endorsing something and we're more likely to jump on the bandwagon, even if we don't have all the information. Politicians understand this phenomenon all too well. They use social proof to create the illusion of momentum, making it seem like everyone's on board with their campaign or policies. They trot out celebrity endorsements, pack their rallies with adoring fans, and flood social media with positive messages, all to create the impression of widespread support. The danger of social proof, of course, is that it can lead to groupthink and stifle dissent. If everyone around us is saying the same thing, we're less likely to question it, even if we have doubts. This can create an environment where bad ideas flourish and critical thinking goes out the window. So the next time you see a politician surrounded by cheering crowds or a policy being hailed as a no-brainer, remember this: just because everyone else is doing it doesn't make it right. It's crucial to take a step back and evaluate the information independently. Do your own research, seek out diverse opinions, and think critically. Engage in meaningful conversations and don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. By doing so, we can make more informed decisions and avoid the pitfalls of herd mentality. The art of the slogan-effective political advertising techniques. In the cutthroat world of politics, where attention spans are short and every vote counts, political advertising is a high-stakes game. And like any good ad campaign, it's all about crafting a message that sticks. Enter the political slogan, a catchy, bite-sized piece of persuasive rhetoric designed to lodge itself in your brain and never let go. Think "Make America Great Again" or "Hope and Change." These slogans are more than just words, they're emotional appeals, carefully crafted to tap into our aspirations, anxieties, and deeply held values. They evoke powerful imagery, simplify complex issues, and create a sense of identity and belonging among supporters. But effective political advertising goes beyond just catchy slogans. It's about crafting a narrative, a story that connects with voters on an emotional level. It's about finding the right messengers, whether it's a charismatic politician, a relatable everyday citizen, or a trusted celebrity. And it's about using the right medium, whether it's a powerful television ad, a viral social media campaign, or a targeted message delivered directly to your smartphone. In the digital age, political advertising has become even more sophisticated and pervasive. Micro-targeting, data mining, and social media algorithms allow campaigns to tailor their messages to specific demographics and even individuals with laser-like precision. The result is an advertising landscape that's increasingly personalized, persuasive, and potentially insidious. Echo chambers trapped in a bubble of our own making. Imagine a world where everyone agrees with you, where your newsfeed is a constant stream of validation and dissenting opinions are nowhere to be found. Sounds idyllic, right? Well, not so fast. Welcome to the echo chamber, where our own biases are amplified and our worldviews are reinforced through a steady diet of confirmation bias. In the age of social media, echo chambers are more prevalent than ever. Algorithms designed to keep us engaged feed us a steady stream of content that aligns with our existing beliefs and interests. We follow like-minded individuals, join groups that share our values, and block or unfriend anyone who dares to disagree with us. The result is a self-imposed intellectual isolation, where our perspectives narrow and our ability to engage in critical thinking atrophies. We become less open to new ideas. This phenomenon has profound implications for politics. When we're constantly exposed to the same ideas and perspectives, we lose sight of alternative viewpoints and become more entrenched in our own beliefs. This entrenchment can make us resistant to change. This can lead to increased polarization, reduced empathy for those who hold different views, and a diminished capacity for civil discourse. The quality of our conversations deteriorates. The echo chamber is a dangerous place, folks. It's a breeding ground for extremism, misinformation, and political manipulation. The more isolated we become, to break free, we need to actively seek out diverse perspectives, challenge our own assumptions, and engage in respectful dialogue with those who hold different views. This means listening more than we speak. It's time to step outside our comfort zones and burst the bubble of our own making. Only then can we hope to build a more inclusive and understanding society. The power of critical thinking breaking free from the bubble. Imagine a world where every opinion is examined through the lens of reason, where diverse viewpoints are welcomed, and where critical thinking reigns supreme. Sounds challenging, right? Well, it's also incredibly rewarding. Critical thinking is the antidote to the echo chamber. It's the skill that allows us to evaluate information objectively, question our assumptions, and make informed decisions. In a world awash with misinformation and manipulation, critical thinking is more important than ever. So, how do we cultivate this vital skill? Start by questioning the sources of your information. Who is providing this data and what might their motivations be? Look for evidence and be wary of emotional appeals that lack factual support. Diversify your information diet by seeking out reputable sources that offer different perspectives. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything you read or hear, but it does mean being open to the possibility that you might be wrong. Engage in discussions with people who hold different views. Listen more than you speak, and strive to understand their reasoning. This doesn't just broaden your horizons, it also strengthens your own arguments by challenging them against opposing viewpoints. Use tools and techniques designed to enhance critical thinking. Mind maps, for instance, can help you visualize the connections between different pieces of information. Logical fallacies charts can alert you to common errors in reasoning. Remember, critical thinking is not about being cynical or dismissive. It's about being curious, open-minded, and willing to change your mind in the face of new evidence. It's about building a more inclusive, empathetic, and understanding society. So let's step out of our echo chambers and embrace the power of critical thinking, because it's only by questioning the world around us that we can truly understand it. Subscribe for more big brain energy.